So I love my Tesla Model Y. Overall, the technology in this car is pretty impressive. And I've taken the time to, of course, customize mine, as you can see, make it my own. And I've brought in a few features that this car doesn't have. But I think the number one feature that every Tesla owner wishes they had in their vehicle is Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And that's because it brings in features like Waze into our car, which most of us have grown to love. And we've gone to extents of using these heads-up displays or other different accessories to bring Apple CarPlay into our vehicle. But what if I told you that there was an accessory out there, a decoder, that you can add to your vehicle that would bring Apple CarPlay directly into your infotainment center without the need of having heads-up displays or any other accessory? Well, it's not really a hypothetical, because our friends over at TesStudios, they've released their Apple CarPlay decoder. And this little gadget right here will plug into our infotainment's computer and bring CarPlay directly into our infotainment screen without the need of having any additional devices. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys what's included with the decoder. I'm going to show you how to install it, and then I'm going to show you how it works and give you my 2 cents. So let's get started. Now, included in the box, you have your decoding unit, as you can see here. We have the antenna, which will screw right in to our decoding unit right there, to that little golden screw right here. And then as you take the foam off, we have our instruction manual, which goes over how to install it. And then, of course, you have your wiring harness. And it seems like aside from the wiring harness, they do include some tools, but that is pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy installed. All right, guys, so in order to get our decoding unit installed, what we need to do is take off a couple of trim panels so that we can access all of the plugs and cables that we're going to be needing to access for this installation. So you're going to want to go ahead and remove this plastic trim piece right here, as well as these plastic trim pieces here. Now, underneath your dash, there is a plastic panel underneath that has a couple clips that we're going to be removing those clips in order to drop down this plastic panel here as well. Once we have access to all of that, guys, then we can go ahead and start plugging everything in. It is plug and play, so this installation shouldn't be too hard and it should be pretty quick. So let's go ahead and take all these trim panels off so that we can get access to those cables and get started. All right, guys, so if you've seen my videos before, then you know that I don't just start prying on the side where the glove box is. I tend to go ahead and like to open my glove box. This way, it just makes it a little bit easier, because once it opens, I can just grab it right here on the side and just pull it off with my hand without having to put a pry tool or anything there. Now, what we need to do is we need to remove this plastic piece right here. And in order to do that, we'll go ahead and pull off some of this rubber grommet here. All right. Now, this plastic piece, guys, you just pull out and then up. So again, with your hand, you can just pull out, pull up. You have this little plastic little rivet right here. So with your pry tool, just go ahead and get in here like this and pop it open. Once you have it popped, you can just pull back on this, guys, and this should pop right out. We'll put this to the side so it doesn't get damaged. Now we need to take off this little rivet right here that's securing our carpet to the frame of the vehicle. So again, that pops right out, and now we'll have access here. Now what we need to do, guys, is take this plastic panel here underneath so that we have access to the computer. And you should be able to see right around here, there should be a couple different plastic rivets just like these. You have one right there, and then you have the other two, one right there, one right there, another one right here. So we'll pop those 4 or 5 rivets off, and then we can go ahead and have access to our computer here and get started with our wiring. Now, once your pins, all your plastic rivets have been pulled out just like that, now you can go ahead and just pull this down. Now, you do have these little plastic areas here that you could just try to pry down this way, or you can just pull down and make sure that the clips are out. And this should just drop down like this, guys. Leave it here. And this is the computer right here that we're going to be working with. So this is what we need access to. along with these cables right here, guys. So you just want to have access to this, and now we'll go ahead and get everything wired up. And of course, before we do any type of wiring, the first thing you want to do is come here to your infotainment center, scroll down to safety, and then all the way at the bottom, you'll see where it says power off. Go ahead and power off. Are you sure you want to turn off the power? Yes, we do. Power off. Now all of your units should be turned off. There should be no power to the infotainment center or the infotainment computer. Make sure you don't hit the brake or anything, because if you do that, you will obviously turn everything back on. So now that we've turned off the power, now go ahead and grab the harness that is corresponding to your car. I am installing this on a 2024 Model Y Performance, which has the AMD version computer on it. So I will grab the AMD harness, but if you do have an Intel version, maybe an older version with the Intel computer, then you're going to want to use the Intel harness. Then, of course, you're also going to be left with these cables here. One of them has two blue heads on it. The other one has a blue and a purple. And then you have a power cable, the USB cable here, which is our 32-pin plug-in, and then our antenna, which we'll install and plug in at the end. All right, so once you have your harness, go ahead and we're going to show you guys how this all plugs in. So for the AMD harness, you grab the longest cable. It's the one that ends in 3119. And that one's going to plug right here into the corner, as you guys can see there. Then you're going to have these two spots, your in and your out. And these are color coordinated, guys. So again, very simple. Just make sure you match up the colors. Plug that in. You'll hear it snap. And then same thing with our blue cable. Go ahead and put that in. Once they've clipped in, guys, and you can hear them on there, now it should look something like this with your 3 wires plugged in. Now we can go ahead and get it wired down here into the actual vehicle. So come down, let me show you. So now that we've gotten everything wired up, you're going to want to grab your first cable that we're going to plug in. Is going to be this cable right here. It's the one that ends in 2067. It's our in cable. It's the one that feeds data into our decoding unit. And this is the one that had the 2 different color heads on it. So we're going to remove this cable right here from our unit here, and this just pulls up right here, and you should be able to pull it out. Then you'll take that unit, this cable here, the one ending in 2067, and that will plug right in to this unit right here, as so. And this one that's dangling right here, guys, again, you just grab the other cable, and you're just going to plug it in, just line it up, and you should hear it just snap right in. Now that we've done that, now we can finish wiring up the rest of our harness. And as you can see here, guys, I have a lot of different cables. So mine looks a little more chaotic than yours should. And the reason for that, guys, is because I have a lot of other accessories, as you can see, already daisy chained here to this port. So what we're going to do, the first thing you want to locate on your vehicle is your power, which is this guy right down here. And what you're going to want to do is grab your power cable, pull that out. All right, pull that out. Once you've pulled that out, you'll grab your accessories power cable, plug that in as so. And then, of course, it should have a female piece for you to plug in your other power cable just like that. So now we have power. Now we just need to plug in our bus cable right here. And that's the cable you're going to find right down here. So again, I have other accessories there, guys, but what we'll do is remove this one here, plug this one in as so. And then we will simply go ahead and plug the rest of our accessories in just like this. Now that we're all wired up, guys, now we just need to go ahead, install our antenna here, and then we can test this all out, see if it's working, and then we can put everything back together and we should be done with our install. And the antenna, guys, it just screws in just like this. Super simple, and you could obviously just move it to the side, whatever you need. But we'll go ahead and put this to the side right now. As you can see, we do have power, but we'll go ahead and put this down here for the time being, and we'll go ahead and test this. So let's see if it works. And just one thing I want to point out really quick is that you do have a series of switches on the coding unit. You want to make sure that these dip switches are set in the sequence that you see in front of you right now. They are numbered 1 through 10, and essentially all of the switches are down with the exception of switch number 3, 7, 9, and 10, which are switched up, as you can see right in front of you. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and test this and see if it's working. Now you hold down your scroll wheel button for 15 seconds and the system should reboot. And then, of course, once it reboots, hopefully we should have Apple CarPlay in front of us, which, as you can see right here, we already have the Apple CarPlay icon loading up right at the bottom of the screen, which is a good indication. So let's see what we have. All right, we still see it loading. We see the CarPlay here. And as you can see, guys, the system has loaded up. We do have CarPlay, we have Huawei iCar and Android Auto, and what looks like to be our settings here. Of course, we want everything in English. So confirm English. I think the system might be rebooting because, of course, I just changed the settings because I see that it kind of went away here. But of course, everything else is functioning as of right now pretty well. Now, I don't know. Oh, here we go. It just rebooted. Now, if I touch this right here, we go back into our CarPlay. And it looks like, again, now everything is in English. So if I go into CarPlay, we do have please use. So I've got to pair my phone to connect it to the general CarPlay. So let me go ahead and do that. And then this way I can show you guys what it looks like once it's connected. So let me get that done. In order to pair, all you got to do is, of course, look for the Bluetooth AVM, whatever it's displaying here on your wireless connection. Find it in your Bluetooth settings here on your phone. I'm using my wife's phone since I'm recording on mine. But once you hit that there, it should give you a pair number. And I would assume that it should pop up here as well. It's asking me to allow pairing request. And it should pop up here on our screen. Connect to Apple CarPlay. And then let's see here what we get. And there you go. Now we have full Apple CarPlay here on our screen. We have, of course, our maps, just like you would on Apple CarPlay, which because we do have Apple CarPlay, obviously. But aside from that here, let's see, do we have what everybody wants? Yes, there it is. We have our Waze back. So now being able to have actual Waze on your screen, guys, look at that. Look at how awesome that is. That's pretty amazing. And the best part about it, as you can see, guys, is that this can go back and forth. So if I just want to be on my normal Tesla, user interface, I can just simply hit the little car right here, as you can see on the corner, and that just brings us back to the interface. But if I go ahead and I click on, of course, our CarPlay icon, it brings us right back into CarPlay. And of course, I can do whatever I want to do here. If I need to expand on this side, let's see, will that work? Well, it doesn't allow us to expand there, and I guess that's because we have the CarPlay interface here. But aside from that, we have all our other apps, our Zoom apps, and I'm sure we can obviously download more. We have our Chick-fil-A app, so now we can order through Chick-fil-A, which is great. All of your settings here, which we can, your basic, CarPlay settings, which is great. But overall, this is pretty cool, and what I love about it, again, aside from having Waze there, is the fact that I can still come in here, I can plug in wherever I'm going. I'm pretty sure I could still come in and plug it into my navigation here. Let's say I was going to go to wherever, an address here. I can still navigate, I can still go full self-driving, and I can also then go ahead and add the address right here and be able to go to the same spot, wherever it is that I'm going, and be able to monitor Waze for any type of fuzz while I have my full self-driving working in the background, because as you can see, it is still operational on both maps, which again, really awesome. Obviously, I'm going to play with this some more, guys, and really see all of the limitations and how well this works. So I will be reporting back on this. But as you can see, guys, our Apple CarPlay decoder is working really, really well. There's barely any lag, if any at all, which is really nice because I was a little bit concerned about that. Because as I'm sure you guys have experienced, if you've ever tested any of those Bluetooth CarPlay adapters, they tend to be very laggy, very glitchy. Sometimes they don't even connect, if any time at all. So they're just always just a headache. So seeing how well this works is really just a breath of fresh air, because it really is nice to have Apple CarPlay in our OEM screen and it working as flawless as this is. So it's nice to see that it's working great. Now that we know that, we can put everything back together and finish up our install. But if you're interested in one of these Apple CarPlay decoders for your Model 3 or Model Y, head on over to TesStudios, because they have a large variety of parts and accessories for all Tesla model vehicles. And the best part is that if you use my discount code, Mr. C. Melendez, at checkout, you will save on all of your TesStudio purchases, not just on the CarPlay decoder, but pretty much on anything on their website. And with summer here, there's a lot of great summer accessories that you definitely should look into. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then we'll go ahead and go over the rest of the features of this Apple CarPlay decoder, and I'll give you my 2 cents on it. So let's get this cleaned up and go from there. And there you have it, guys. As you can see, installing this Apple CarPlay decoder wasn't very hard at all. Everything was very plug and play, which is great because it doesn't void our warranty. But as you guys saw, this Apple CarPlay, it functions just like any other CarPlay, which is really, really nice. And it does bring that OEM feel into our Tesla vehicles without the need of having any heads-up display units or anything like that. Now, as I was pointing out earlier, what's really nice is that you still have your Tesla interface still very present in the vehicle. It's really not being obstructed at all. But if you do want to access your Apple CarPlay, all you need to do is, of course, just hit your little icon right here. And then once you do, it brings us into your Apple CarPlay. And it's really nice because, again, like every other Apple CarPlay that you've probably experienced before, you have a wide variety of apps, which is really nice. As you can see, the system is also very responsive, as I was saying before. But you do have access to all the apps that we've all grown to love, especially Waze, which is super important to have in the car. And of course, all of your settings, as you've seen before, we can always, change the appearance. In this case, we can have it automatic, which is the way I like it, so that it continues with the aesthetics of the vehicle. But of course, you have your driving focus, wallpaper, and all that kind of cool stuff if you wanted to really try to customize it here some more, which is really nice. And of course, you have your Siri and everything else, including your album art. But it's really nice the way they did this, because as I was saying before, you do have Apple integrated, you have your Apple CarPlay, you can use it when you need it, and when you don't want it in your face, all you need to do is just tap it, and it's out of sight, out of mind. So again, I think our friends over at TesStudios did a really good job with this particular CarPlay decoder, especially with how easy it was to install. It's definitely a no-brainer if you're looking for a CarPlay solution for your vehicle and you don't want to go this route with the heads-up displays, because again, these are absolutely great if you're looking to go with a different accessory. But if you really want to bring it into your factory infotainment screen, and you really want to keep it here because you want to enjoy that minimalistic Tesla interior, then no doubt the TesStudios CarPlay decoder is definitely the way to go. And like I've said several times in the video, guys, head on over to their website, TesStudios.com, and check them out. And don't forget to use my discount code, Mr. C. Melendez, at checkout, so that you save on all of your TesStudio purchases. But as always, guys, I am genuinely curious to hear what you guys thought about this particular upgrade. Would you install this Apple CarPlay decoder in your Tesla vehicle, or would you rather just get a heads-up display unit with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto? I am genuinely curious to hear your thoughts, so definitely sound off in the comments below and let me know what you think. And if this video helped you guys at all, please consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon so that you're notified when I post my next Front Club video. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for hanging out with me here at the Front Club. Till next time.